Hey guys, and welcome back to the INSITE channel. My name is Freddy Rana, and today we have CYPHER in the crosshairs. Known for his Cinderella run at the Blast Major earlier this year with a UK core under IntoTheBreach, he has recently signed with TSM, who have come back into Counter-Strike and will be looking to recreate the success that he had internationally, internationally that he had regionally. Firstly, before we get started, Kai, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? After a dub versus Crosshair.
Yeah, I was just say I'm doing great. I had the pleasure of casting that. How does it feel actually to have your first official one, even though it was a little bit close to times? Does it feel nice to be okay, first official, good win?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's always nice to win your first official, right? No matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it could have been a lot cleaner, but we will take the first win, nevertheless.
You put on a show, and it was an entertaining game, I will say.
Yeah.
But we'll get to some of the stuff about TSM later on. Just jumping right into it, I want to kind of focus a little bit on your progression with ITB, because you were with them literally from the beginning till kind of this period now where they weren't UK. You had a lot of mixtures of struggle and success, obviously success recently. So starting from the beginning when you played under Adam 9130, the UK IGL, what were those original expectations? Because it was you guys started from open 2 years ago, and I literally swear a couple months in, you guys almost disbanded. So what was the original expectations when you formed that roster?
I mean, I have no idea what Adam's expectations were, but mine was to just play best I could internationally, because that was my first. I mean, that was my second international team. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, I was just to play as best I could internationally, or just go as far as I can. Maybe advanced playoffs or MDL, which we did. And then, that's what I was hoping for with that team.
Yeah. And so when you were on that roster, it always stayed as UK core at a minimum, and even times, especially last year, you were a full UK team. Did you ever, when you were on that roster, be okay, we have to maybe get more international people in to finally assess? And because a lot of people in the UK, they're always saying you cannot major as a UK team. Was that ever a thought process for you guys?
I mean, I wouldn't say bring people in internationally. I mean, it was clear that we obviously had to make changes to evolve. Every roster, sometimes you hit a ceiling, and I feel like that's what we did. I mean, we were also very unlucky. The fact that we had something always went wrong in our iterations. I'll just put it like that. Something always went wrong, whether it's be a fifth who is not really playing the game much, or one that we just didn't get along with each other, etc. Something is always went wrong. We never had a stable five.
No.
So it was kind of unlucky with that bit.
Yeah, because you had that really there was the UK core I was talking about with Tadpole, and then you went Smooth Thomas. Was that you? And then you obviously picked up Rusty and Draken.
Yeah.
When with that Swedish pickup, did you guys sit there and go, okay, we've reached a ceiling with the UK guys, we need to now go international? Was that the thought process of that?
I mean, with Smia and Thomas, they were just stand-ins, right?
Yeah, weird extent stand-ins. Yeah.
It was weird extents we practiced. I don't think we practiced at all. So it was just for about 3 months, we weren't practicing, and we were just playing officials day in and day out. It was horrible. It was just not fun at all. So we were doing that, and then when we picked up the Swedish people like Rusty and Draken, I think we played really good. I think there's a good. I think we missed RMR by 2 places. I think I think it wasn't actually a bad lineup, but stuff went wrong internally, shit like this. It was quite unlucky. But yeah, so I mean, we could have done a lot better. Like I said, we almost made it RMR. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So then coming into the new year, and this is kind of the main topic I want to talk about, is this massive roster overhaul. So you were the only player to be kept on. I guess obviously you can coach. There was also obviously the coach stayed on.
Yeah.
But was the plan for the org to keep you? Was that an ITB plan, or was it a coincidence that Thomas was I want to play with CYPHER?
I mean, I think it was all up in the air at the very start. At the start of they were building ITB, I think Thomas wanted me, but then Smia didn't. I think Smia wanted Uncare or something like that,
Yeah.
And Thomas and Huve were saying get CYPHER and all of this. And then I think we played a few scrims with Fear, Smia, Red Star, me, Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think after that, Fear and Smia didn't play anymore. So then it was Thomas rebuilding, and that was just a slow process. And then all of a sudden, who they messaged me was like, okay, we're rebuilding this with Thomas, me, Rallen, Crucial, and then we're looking for 4+1, right? And instantly, I thought, well, Seb Fnatic Academy is no longer a thing, like Volt. So I was like, instantly, okay, I need to get Seb, I need to get Volt.
Yeah.
So I have messaged Volt saying, okay, can you play? And then Thomas spoke to Volt, and then, yeah.
Okay, so it was definitely more like a just piece by piece, like it just kind of all fell into piece type thing.
Yeah.
So looking at you as a player, because you could frame this as like you in ITB literally went from open to top 8 major. Just like looking at your individual gameplay, what areas do you feel like you progressed while playing under ITB for like these 2 years?
I mean, decision making, of course, 100%.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about the game at all. Right. But now I know like risk and rewards, except like, it's just basically just the game knowledge in general and my individual prowess, I think, has just evolved. I mean, literally everything, to be honest with you. But it's more the fact how I understand the game. And like, obviously I've been an aggressive player the whole time, but it's not to be dumb with aggressive. Like I said, risk and reward plus.
Yeah.
It's just understanding who plays where, what setups teams like to play, and just like reading that, based on what you do, and I just got good at that. And yeah.
Okay, so obviously big elephant in the room, you guys made the RMRs. It was a really weird period because it didn't feel like you guys, from the outside perspective, were playing super consistent. You were actually losing online. Basically, what changed specifically for these kind of like major qualifiers and such? Like, did you guys notice as well that it was maybe a little bit ropey leading up to these? And what was the difference when you were actually playing like the qualifiers and then the actual RMRs itself?
I mean, the qualifiers is a free-for-all, to be honest with you. Yeah. That's a scary playground to be. Like, honestly, it's just like everyone just comes out swinging left and right. It's horrible, man. We were so close to not making it. I think in the last, when we actually made it RMR, we were in open qualifiers and we were down 12-15, I'm pretty sure, or something really bad like this. And then I think it was a 1v3 and Vol won it. And then literally it was 1v3, bombed down A-side Mirage, okay, against a random Russian mix. And all of a sudden, Vol wins the 1v3, we came back, and then that's how we started the RMR. I think after that Russian mix, who did we lose to? We might have lost to Eternal Fire, I think, and that's it, right? And we just kind of played really good in the close qualifiers. And then I think we just beat everyone there. And then, but yeah, like I said, the open qualifiers was a free-for-all. It's scary. We were so close to not making it.
Yeah, that Russian team must be saying them being like, damn, if we'd won that,
literally.
We'd be top 8. So like, just like, kind of like, really simple question, but like, as an individual, did you ever think that you could have like made it with the RMRs, that team, and then even further to the major, and then like continuing upwards? Like, was this ever something that as an individual you ever thought you'd do? And especially with this roster, did you think that was going to happen with like a UK court?
I mean, I would say no. Yeah. I think at the start of ITB, when I first joined, I was like, I'm not great, I'm not good at the game. But basically, I evolved that, and I think towards the end of ITB, I was actually playing quite good. Like individually, I think I was playing quite well. And I thought, okay, I'm still not good, but maybe if I carry this on, and I could get somewhere. So like, I never thought I would get this far, but now that I'm here, I can see why with how much hard work I did put in. But like, when you actually put in hard work, you're like, okay, like I'm not gonna get far.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to see what you're putting the work in for.
Yeah.
So now that as I said, like now you can see what you've achieved. How does that all feel to be like, okay, I've actually done this now, but I still want to get more?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's on top of the world, right? Like I'm on top of the world thinking where I was and where I am now. But like you said, it's like I can just get better. Like you can always get better, and I think now I want to be in a situation and in a team where people recognize me and my team internationally and realize, okay, they're top 10 in the world, top 5 in the world, and they're scary to play against. That's what I want to do. I want to be like, I want to have like the Nico name as one of the best riflers to look out for, like a pop off sort of thing. That's what I would want individually, and as team, I want to just grow your team and see us top 5 that people are scared to play against, and I want to go to all these events. That's okay. I want.
Yeah, because like, so kind of building on that point there, out of nowhere, internationally, it was ITB and CYPHER just plastered everywhere. Like you made the RMRs, and literally in like 3 to 4 months, you got like you were in that limelight. So do you take that as like confidence that people are like talking about you, and you're like, yeah, I want people to talk about me, or is there maybe like some pressure applied to that?
I mean, of course, it's going to be a little bit of pressure, right? Like, I don't really like people talking about me in that sense because
Okay.
it's just weird
Yeah.
for me. It's just weird to see it, right? But I mean, don't get me wrong, I like seeing it, but it's weird for me still. I think everyone likes compliments, right? Everyone likes compliments, but it's one of the things where I take it backhandedly, where I was like, Cypher's good, blah blah blah, but like I could have done that better. You know, I never see the good in compliments. I always see like, but okay, I could have done this better, sort of thing.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I think I see it like that, but yeah.
That's really interesting because obviously, like at the major, that documentary they made, like you were such a big part of it. Like they literally flew out. So like, how did you cope with all of that kind of where like there was that attention on you for like months, literally?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird, to be honest. Like I said, it was really weird. It was like from going to playing advanced to then playing in major and like in all these things. It was, I don't know, it was crazy. It was really, I mean, I wouldn't say it was any pressure because it wasn't really much pressure, but it was just the fact that like I would load up HLTV, I see like an article, you know, and then with this, it's just it was so weird to see. I just never thought like that would actually happen.
Okay. Is this site you're getting used to more, or is there still like, even for instance, say like there was an article written about that like one game you played? Is there still like a point today where you're like, crap, like this is whoa?
I mean, yeah, but I think it's just like it's always going to be weird, you know. Like even if I do get better, when I get better, it's always going to be weird that I'll see like a form like wrote about me or an article or anything like this, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what will happen, it will always be so weird to see anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, so just kind of look at the major a little bit. I had the pleasure of being there with you the whole time, and it was actually unreal. And I think you guys did it like obviously amazing. Going into that, it was the whole theme of everyone was like, "Oh, ITB are gonna go 0-3." Did that give you like confidence because you were like, "Okay, I want to like fuck your pick'ems"? Like, what was that mentality coming into it then?
Yeah, of course. I think that always gave confidence, right? Like the fact that you have no pressure on you at all. Like everyone just thinks you're gonna bomb out. So of course you're gonna go into every game feeling there's no pressure, no nothing. You're just gonna run at people, right? I feel like now that's literally the whole thing. Just there's no pressure, and you're chilling.
Okay,
essentially.
Lovely. And then so when you like first came into it, it was Apeks, and I remember you guys were really confident, and it was like quite like a brutal blow. Did you come away from that and just go, well, fuck, that's it then. We are like, that's I was like, okay, good start, guys.
I mean, I think we all expected to kind of win the game, right? Yeah. And it would have been amazing to win because they were kind of like shit talking us online before.
Yeah.
So it was like, it would have been a nice game to win. But I mean, it might have been a blowout score wise, but it was really close. I think we lost 2 4v2s. We lost 2 5v2s. We lost 1 1v3. You know, so if any of those rounds kind of went away, or our way, I think it could have been a lot closer or potentially, you know, changed the course of the game a little bit. But when we lost that game, for me, it was like, okay, now was our chance to at least get a game, you know? But it was more the fact, okay, yeah, that was our chance, but we can still win this, you know? Like I said, every team is feeling pressure. We're not. We're chilling. But it was quite rough at the start because we knew, you know, that was our game to win.
So is that the mentality you brought into FaZe and ENCE, that you were like, okay, everyone under pressure, these are 2 top teams, like they're feeling the pressure, we're not. Was that how you approached those games? And was like, especially with the FaZe game, like that must have been very annoying to see like, okay, we've lost a game and we're playing fucking FaZe now. Like, how, like, but did you still were able to bring over that conversation? Like, did you still have that mentality of like, we're just going to go and like scrim it almost just out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's one of the things you're in Paris, right? Like you're in Paris. Well, I mean, first you're in Copenhagen playing the RMR, and then you're in Paris. You're traveling the world essentially.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna give your all, well, why are you even there? You know, like sort of thing. So it's like we all thought that, and we just played it like that because I mean, it's phase. They will have to be feeling pressure against us, you know, like against UK team. Of course, you're going to be feeling pressure. So we was like, okay, we're not feeling shit. We're chilling.
Yeah.
So just go in, literally guns blazing, chilling, vibing, you know, having fun. And that's it.
Yeah, just like talk about the UK CS thing as well. So like I've never seen the UK scene as unified as when you guys were doing that. How did that make you feel to look on Twitter and it was like literally every player from the UK was like, we don't care how you do, we're just happy to see you here.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice with the support from the UK, right? Like every friend messaging me, everyone just it's lovely. It's the best to see everyone just supporting you. Obviously, there's nothing else you can kind of ask for. I mean, like I said, I think I said it before. All I hope is that people take from that UK people aren't actually bad. It's just everyone UK people's attitudes are bad. That is it. Everyone in the UK is good individually, I would say. Like can be quite crisp individually in good teams, you know.
Yeah.
It's just their attitude is terrible. Like that's literally it, and that's why there's one like up and coming in the scene.
Okay. Do you feel like you guys doing well in this team actually supports people to be like, okay, I can make it, I should fix up this? Or do you think there is a knock-on effect in the scene because of what you guys did?
I don't think there's a knock-on effect in the scene. I don't think the UK CS scene works like that at all, sadly.
Okay.
I mean, who am I? I only know my clique of friends, you know, so it might. But I don't think it works like that at all, to be honest. I think most of them kind of don't care enough to put any effort. So yeah,
okay.
And the ones who are putting the effort are, I mean, it shows because they are playing good now, you know. So, like I said,
yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so looking at like the final games was against fnatic. I remember it was super rough. Like map 1, I remember like everyone was just like the mentality was gone. How did you and it was your map pick? I remember it was Inferno. Yeah. How did you bounce back into that and go into the next 2 maps? And I remember it literally went that you guys were 16-6, 16-7, something like that. Like you were just, like how did that happen?
I think after the Inferno, we knew it was going to be rough, right? But we are quite an emotional team, I'd say. Actually, I mean, some of us are emotional. Me and Juve, I think, are emotional people. So we were tilted at the start because we were just playing really bad. You know, we were playing just so bad on an Inferno. So of course we're going to be angry about. But like as soon as the next game starts, I think we're all mature enough to realize, okay, it's next map, we move on, right? And I think their overpass, we knew their T side wasn't that great at all. Like they've been having really rough games. I think they bombed out against Vitality or something like that, and they had just had a really rough time on the T side. So we knew our CT side was really good. So we just knew like we can get an easy map potentially, you know, like not an easy map. We knew we'd have to work really hard, but we knew our CT side was really good, so we can get a really good half. And I think we just worked literally on from there. We knew overpass was going to be difficult, but on our side. And then what was the third map? Virgo. I think on Virgo, I watched a lot of fnatic demos because I used to watch Messi how he plays B on Vertigo a lot.
Okay.
So I was like, I kind of know what they do on RAM, etc. Right? So I was just swinging it, and I got support from Thomas, and you know, full confidence from him, and we just worked really well.
Okay. So then, kind of building on that, was that like you were saying, like you watch Messi demos. Obviously, Fnatic has Messi and Keita, kind of like the 2 UK guys that were the first, maybe to like recently, anyways, to have like that actually getting internationally. How did that feel to almost like overtake them? Like obviously Vault Fnatic Academy, like you had that progression as well. Like how did that feel to score? Be like, okay, we've made top 8, but we've also just beaten the UK guys that have always been above us our entire career.
I mean, obviously, like for me, obviously it's nice to be someone who you've always looked up to in terms of CS, in terms of like UK player doing insanely well, one of the best riflers when he can be on point, you know, like Messi, just insane. Like, so it's always good to be him. And I think obviously for Vol going from Fnatic Academy to being Fnatic always feels good. Like that can't not feel good. So it must be nice. But yeah, like of course it's gonna be nice playing against a UK guy and being him, you know? Like Messi just
and
I don't think I've like when he said surpass, I don't think I have surpassed him at all yet, because his achievements and him individually as a player is, I would say, better than me right now. I mean, hopefully that changes, right? But I don't think I've surpassed him yet.
So would you see that more as a consistency thing, that like he's kind of been around and he's like they've made like back to back majors, stuff like that? Is that how you'd view it in that sense?
I mean, team success and individually, like his individual prowess and consistency he brings, I don't think I'm on that level, but I think give me a little bit, yeah, I will be.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. That's a good like kind of like a respect of like you want to do well because you respect him and you want to do better than him, and that sort of like it's an achievement to do better than him because of how much you respect him.
Yeah.
But then so going into that game versus Vitality, you didn't have any fear. How was that? How were you able to cancel it out when there was all this media around you, when all the fans, like the whole stadium was against you? There was a small contingent of the UK fans and the bin men over on the left. How did you just go in and just pop heads? Like, obviously you guys lost 0-2, but it was still very respectable and you guys still put up a very good fight. Like, how were you able basically to have that mentality stay?
I mean, I think like we all just went into the game to have fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we were full focused on our screens, CS, and having fun. And I think we were like, that game, we just knew it was going to be hard, you know, obviously. So like I said, we just full went into it, the game, having fun, doing the best we can. And now I look back, it's really rough because obviously we should have won Vertigo. But like now, like I look back on it, I say we should have won Vertigo. I kind of threw on my part, but it's like we were there to have fun. We did our job, but like I said, it would have been really nice, and we should have won that map and game. Maybe not game, but map for sure.
Okay. So why do you think that you should have won it? Like you were saying you threw, but you did like you had good stats. What were like the things that you may look back on and like critique yourself on, and how do you improve upon those?
I mean, I gave 4 entries to Majestic on B side, I think, on RCT side.
Yeah.
I think there was one low play. He just on our first gun round, I think on their first gun round, he walked through their B lurk smoke, and I was playing too aggressive by myself with no support, and I tried to spam a smoke when my timing and my spawn was just so bad that he could have been there already, right? So it was really bad on my part. A second time, what was the second time? I think he just walked up B stairs and one tapped me default. But I was playing in too much of a committed angle again when I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, like these rounds, there's another one white where I whiffed on him walking up the stairs. And I think like these 3 to 4 rounds could have gone our way and should have gone our way. And like I said, that's why I personally think I threw on the Vertigo CC side. And why we should have won that map. Because if I didn't give up those 4 entries, they had A on lockdown, it felt like. It was only B that was like giving up the entries. They had B side, causing rotations, etc. You know, it was a free-for-all event.
Okay. So then how do you like build from that? So you kind of identified all these things. Are these things that you know actively are like, you're just like, okay, this happened, but do you are like, I'm gonna learn from this?
I mean, I don't play B Virgo anymore, but I have definitely learned from overcommitting to an angle, you know, stuff like this, not playing into duels, like the favors of duels, etc. Like that's basic CS that I should have done from the first place, but I think it was just pressure again to be on the stage, obviously.
Okay.
And yeah.
Interesting point you said. You were like, we sat down and we had fun. Was that something that maybe changed going into the future of especially like post-Asia with the ITB squad, and maybe even now in some sense, that it's like you're less playing for fun and playing to like, okay, we need to win these games, etc. Like, is that sign that did change after the major because of like people expect some stuff from you?
I think, of course, we try to give everything we can, you know, like after the major, I think we played NIP when we came back and we beat them. I'm pretty sure we beat NIP when we came back, and it was just after that, I think, I'm not even sure what happened. I think we lost a series, and then now it's our like officials over, and then obviously people joined other teams, right? But I think, of course, in those officials, we wanted to like show the best we can. There's a little bit of pressure, right? Because we didn't want it to be a fluke, and we knew it wasn't a fluke. We just wanted to show it.
Okay. Yeah. So I was saying, like, looking at when you guys left, you and Volt kind of departed quite early after. So Volt had said previously in I think it was HTB that basically one of the main reasons why he joined Gamer Legion was because they had a better plan than ITB going in the future? Was this something that you were like, were you looking to change roster, or was it like TSM offered you something with this roster and the plan for the future was better? Was this the mentality you had almost?
I mean, essentially, yeah. I didn't think. I mean, I don't know how to word it in this way, but it's like I didn't think we could play our best potential of CS in ITB, or I could have. Right, so I wanted a place to evolve, and TSM gave this to me, and it was like, you can do this, and obviously with the help of all these experienced players, and I felt like myself, I could evolve a lot more as a player, you know. Okay. Whereas I think, I mean, maybe in our lineup we had, I don't think I could have.
Why? So, like, what were the factors?
I would say maybe internal problems. I can't really say, but I would say internal problems. I think the thing is I couldn't. Yeah.
So does TSM feel like almost like a new slate on that front of like there are no internal problems? It's just a bang like new. Is that like a big factor for you then?
Yeah, of course. I think on TSM we're all friends. Everyone's been to work 100%. You know, like. It is a kind of clean state, and I'm on new position, new roles, and I feel like where I can definitely evolve as a player because I have people around me telling me like if I do something wrong, you know, like I have eyes on me, which is always good because then I will learn from my mistakes, right? So yeah, it's always good.
Okay, so looking at you're saying roles, because like in the game today, you did feel like you're playing a hard entry role still, almost with the team. So how have the roles changed? And was it more like you being like, I want these to change? Because I think a lot of people identify you and Jax have quite similar play styles and quite similar roles. So was that like, okay, we've got you and Jax who wants to change roles, or you're saying like you want to evolve? Like, do you want to break that down for me?
I mean, I think T-side nowadays, and in this meta of CS, you can't have a dedicated entry fragger.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how the T-side roles work. Obviously, I have the better roles in terms of positions on T-side, right? Like more like, I'd say good positions in terms of not lurking. Kind of getting these positions, but I can take these fights early, like Banana, Inferno, you know, stuff like this. But I can create the space still. And Jax has taken a bit of a way back on that. The same with CT side. I'd be putting in all these good positions, like I said, overpass A, etc. You know, ancient B cave.
And you were swinging today.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he has taken a little bit of a roll backwards in terms of spacing, like role and positions on CT side, and I think T side he has a little bit as well. But I think when it comes to entry fragging, entry at a bomb site, going first, I think me and him both are experienced enough, and we know like obviously who has to do it in certain times, you know. And I think what spacing is best, etc. Like sometimes Jax will literally just fucking say, okay, let me go first. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? You know, what I mean, hands off, you can go wherever exactly. And then sometimes I'm just there swinging, you know, like it's literally depending on rounds. Like I said, nowadays you can't have a dedicated entry fragger, so me and him are just doing it. Yeah.
Okay, so you've like spoken about evolving in TSM, and I would imagine, and you can kind of confirm or deny or drop. Guess you got a lot of offers after major. Why, like, was the main part of TSM like you want to evolve? You have these roles, they work. Was that like a big factor to it?
I mean, I didn't even get an offer from any other orgs after the major.
TSM was the only team that offered you.
I mean, I got offered a trial for one more team. I'm pretty sure, and that's it. And I mean, even so, right? It doesn't really matter because I was still really happy for TSM. Like,
yeah.
I watch their league team. I watch the Apeks team all the time. You know, being under an org like them is really nice, and especially being under the players. You're right. So like Jackie, who he's more experienced in my role, but I can learn from. You know, like Intis, who is probably could be one of the best support players in the world. You know, like supported me if I needed, etc. Remy, Extaz being the coach and give me the helping me evolve, right? So these are all the benefactors that led me to join the team. Even though I didn't really get any offers, that I would still say they were I would still probably go with them, you know?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And so I just want to talk about like how his roster was built, because I feel like there was so much weird confusion on the media, and I feel like a lot of that was like wrong that was publicized, and I guess we can kind of talk about that a little bit. So like, was this TSM, as you said, like they offered you? Did they build the roster, or was it like Xtaz at the head of it? And then was it because then like you guys have been almost like it was like the five of you guys, if like people like they're joining guild. Like it seemed really like it was very confusing when it was being built. Was it organization? Was it Xtaz? Was it like you guys coming together, or was it all built around TSM?
I mean, the organization and the team itself in general, I think it was built around TSM and Xtaz.
Okay.
Like Remy. I think Remy picked the players. TSM was confident in his decision making and choices, and TSM just fully backed him. And Remy is like the ring puppet master in all of this, basically.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was that leak of like Xtaz being like, I don't want to be a part of it. Was that ever true, or was there ever a period when you're building it? So is there like, is there any like, what was the reason behind that at all?
I can't say. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure it wasn't true.
Okay, yeah, because like obviously he's like in the server.
Yeah.
Like, even when the qualifiers, everyone was like, well, he's obviously there.
Yeah, he was with us all the time, basically. I think.
Okay. And so going from, and we were kind of speaking a little bit about communication when you were like before this. Obviously you went from playing like mostly UK, like Crucial. He's UK. He's like it was a UK 4-man lineup type thing. It's now being fully international with players like from every different country.
Yeah.
What's it like getting used to just the personalities, the communication, and this like completely different system you're being thrown into?
I mean, it's definitely a lot harder comms wise because I have to be way more precise. But I think, and especially since I'm in all these star roles and positions on CC side, I have to talk a lot more, right? And as a player, I'm like, when I used to have a bad game, I went quiet. So for me, it was a little bit rough to get out of that habit. And obviously, with the help of Remy, Xtaz, and the team, I've got better at that. So it's definitely a lot harder to, like, communication-wise with everyone, right? Like you said, it's the basic communication that can ruin around for you. So, like, aka, like, I'm holding your left, this is open, right? We lack that sometimes. It's just basic comms. And sometimes we just lack it, and everyone just has to get in the habit of talking, you know, like English and getting to know each other, etc.
So yeah, I was gonna say, like, would that have been maybe one of the issues today? Because like, obviously it was literally like 0 to 100 to 0 to 100. Like, was that then maybe like some of the issues you found today in the official versus fake natty, that it was all based around like, okay, these communications were just wrong, like roll this, etc.
I mean, the comms were a bit rough, I'd say, but I wouldn't say they were the problem in that game. I'm not really too sure, to be honest. I think we haven't really watched the game back as a team yet, which we will do very soon. So it's kind of hard to say, but for me, it just felt messy. We're a new team, and we got put into situations where we're not really sure yet because they played a weird style, right, on some of the maps we played.
Yeah.
So we got put into situations that we weren't comfortable with. So we made bad choices, including myself, obviously. So it was really hard in certain situations, so we can get to these like to get through those, right? Obviously, we found the fix on Ancient, but on Inferno, it was hard to play against some rounds, especially when obviously your entry frag is not entry fragging like me. So it was quite hard.
Yeah. So talking about some of the individuals in the team, I think a lot of people would have had question marks over MoDo, the AWPer, largely due to his inexperience. And I feel like if you weren't a tier 2 like avid watcher, you would have seen that and gone, who is he type thing, which I feel like is understandable if someone doesn't watch like that much of that level. What are kind of like your experience of him right now, and to almost like be like, because he was incredible today. So like, how do you feel like playing with him, and why do you feel like this was such like a good pickup for you guys?
I mean, he has the firepower, right? You need as an AWPer. Like he's really fast mechanically, and he can just hit these flicks, right? and it's what you need. Like I said, we needed firepower to bring, and he brings it.
Okay. And with this kind of like organization, there's a lot of hype around it, and you as a player have gone from no expectations to now always expectations. Does that change at all how you play, or is it just giving you more confidence to do well?
I wouldn't say it's changed how I play. Like, I think I'm not gonna change my play style because I'm getting these comments on HOTV forums, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's gonna change how I play at all. Obviously, add a tiny bit of pressure because you want to make TSM proud and your their fan base proud, right?
Yeah.
And so, of course, it adds a tiny bit of pressure, but other than that, I would say not really. I'm not going to change my play style because, you know, a few people on HLTV forums that lost like fucking £10 saying, you know, these guys are terrible.
Yeah.
So that's it, really.
That's a great way to look at it. And so, because this roster, it does feel like it's like a big rebuild of a team almost. Do you guys, because of the major, now that we don't have the major, the second half of the year, is that like a big reason for the creation of this roster, that the major is much further back and there's a lot more time? Is that like a big mentality around the team?
I think, like I said, I think TSM went in for the long run. They trust us and what we're capable of, right? So I think, yes, we are doing it for the long run, but we are hoping to have short-term results as well.
Okay.
Like, so we're definitely in it for improving and not taking our time, but improving over time. But we are still here improving in short term, and we want these results. Like, I don't know about TSM, I don't know what we're happy with, but as a team, we want these short term results, you know. But everyone is planning long term.
Yeah. So what do those short term results consist of? Like, are there any goals you're actively aiming for right now?
I mean, there's not really much tournaments going on. I personally, I would like to qualify to a tier 1 event through open qualifiers. I would like to do that. Maybe win, you know, CCTs, whatever. And to me, it's just about qualifying to these tier 1 events, qualifying to the RMR, qualifying to the major. You know, stuff like that is just, that's what I want. I just want to qualify, like I said, to next tournament, like maybe next Blast or next IEMs or ESLs, or then qualify the RMRs, etc., and just go from there.
Okay, well, perfect. Thank you so much. I don't want to keep it too long, and I hope you.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Yeah, I just wanted to have this focusing on like the major and focusing on TSM. And with that, Kai, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Like, this roster looks really cool on paper. It's looking good in the server, and I hope this is something that you guys can continue doing with the officials coming up.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a slog. You guys have almost have to like restart from zero. But with that in mind, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for the next interview.
Bye-bye.